The rules are simple. She obeys all of his orders and he rewards her for them. She becomes his submissive, and he keeps her secret. The story begins with Romy riding on her husband like an electronic rabbit, but she never seems to be satisfied. So every time they're done, she secretly goes into another room, plays some really degrading movie, and has to finish the job herself. Romy is a 50-year-old woman who is quite successful. She is the CEO of a high-technology company. Her husband, Jacob, is a theater director, and they have 2 daughters, Isabel and Nora. One day, on her way to work, Romy gets attacked by a wild dog, but she is saved by a young man who gently pets the dog, calling it a good girl, and Romy gets moisturized. Later at work, Romy's assistant, Esme, informs her that they have a group of new interns. Once she lets them inside, the man who previously helped her with the dog, Sam, asks her a very degrading question, insulting her career. Esme immediately takes them all out of the office, but Romy can still feel his eyes on her throughout the day. She later approaches him and asks how he managed to calm the dog. He responds that he gave it a cookie, pointing out that pets should always be rewarded, then offers her a cookie as well. Later that night, her husband initiates making love to her, and she covers her head with a pillow, insisting she likes it better this way. In my book, this is the time where you either get a gun or a divorce. I mean, I don't really have my own book. It's just something people say. A couple of days later, the company prepares a Christmas party, and Romy steps out onto a balcony to smoke a cigar. Sam approaches her, telling her that he chose her as his mentor. She tells him she's not on the list of mentors, but he simply says that now she is. Boys, you should really start taking notes. During the party, Romy dances with her husband, but she becomes visibly jealous when she sees Sam dancing with other girls. The next morning, she notices that Sam has dropped his tie. She goes to her office and starts sniffing it, then begins biting it, and I don't even know what this thing is. Afterwards, she goes to a plastic surgeon and gets Botox injected under her skin, trying to look younger. When she meets with Sam, he informs her that he's looking forward to their meeting on Tuesday. She tells him she doesn't know what he's talking about, and he simply compliments her on her new look. Romy decides to show up to the meeting, where he asks her a couple of questions about the company. She tells him how she started her own business, and that she is a woman in power. But Sam tells her that he thinks she likes being told what to do. She immediately tries to leave, but he stops her. He leans in very close, and when she tries to kiss him, he leans back, making it very clear who's in control here. Later that night, she struggles to fall asleep, with guilt slowly eating her up. So the next time Sam approaches her, she tells him that his behavior is completely out of line. But he simply talks about work, pretending that nothing ever happened. Later that evening, she goes out for a drink with her friends, but the waiter brings her a glass of milk, and it's pretty obvious who sent it. She stares into Sam's eyes while chugging the entire glass in one go. Once she's alone, he passes by and whispers that she's a good girl. And I'm guessing now she's wet where she used to be dry, and dry where she used to be wet. She immediately rushes to her office, drops to the floor, and begins satisfying herself. Just before heading to the theater where her husband has just finished his show, she goes up to him and tells him that she absolutely loved it, even though she wasn't really watching. She then gets a text from Sam and tells Jacob that she has to leave. He begs her to stay, saying it's his big night, but she still decides to go to the office, where she finds a piece of paper with a date and an address. Meanwhile, Sam watches from outside, observing and making sure he has her completely wrapped around his finger. The next day, she goes to the hotel room and waits patiently for Sam. Once he arrives, she tells him that what he's doing is wrong, that this is unacceptable. She admits that he's very young and that she doesn't want to hurt him, but he simply tells her that he has power over her, because with just one phone call, he could ruin her entire life. Then he commands her to get on her knees. She almost does, but decides to leave. Then she changes her mind and tries to kiss him. He pushes her away and puts her in the corner as punishment. After a couple of minutes, he commands her to get on all fours, and once she does, he pulls out a piece of candy, telling her to come and take it. Next, he puts her on the floor and begins touching her while she screams as if he's using a knife instead of his fingers. After that night, their affair becomes an everyday thing. He gives her random tasks, like one time when he breaks a mug and orders her to clean it up. Every time she acts like a good girl, she gets rewarded, and it slowly turns into an addiction for her. But one day, when she gets home from work, she's stunned to see Sam there. He simply says that she forgot her laptop, so he came to bring it back to her. That's when she realizes just how bad the situation has become, now that he's started interfering with her family. Later, in her car, Romy tells him that her family means everything to her, and that whatever is happening between them cannot continue. Sam gets upset, saying he was only doing his job, and then leaves the car. A couple of days later, during a meeting, Romy receives a message telling her to come to the roof. She immediately rushes there to her master, where Sam informs her that he's going to ask to be transferred to another department. She begs him not to do it, saying that people will start asking questions and that she might lose her job. But he tells her it's for the best and simply walks away. She waits for Sam's message the entire night. Meanwhile, Jacob wants to cuddle, but she becomes aggressive toward him, admitting that she can never finish while sleeping with him. And Jacob doesn't even fight it, simply accepting the knife to his heart, the bullet to his brain, the katana to his back, and the bazooka to his chest. The next morning, she apologizes, saying she didn't really mean it, but broken hearts can't be fixed with duct tape. Man, I should have named my channel Fyodor Dostoevsky. Later that day, she meets up with Sam, who asks her if she wants to lose everything, pointing out that she's giving exactly that impression. She keeps repeating that he's so young, and that she doesn't want to hurt him. And he tells her that he thinks she's the one who's hurting. He then sets a simple rule. He tells her what to do, and she has to do it. She asks what happens if she doesn't, and he threatens to spill all their secrets. He orders her to sit on the table and begins touching her, making her repeat after him that she will do whatever he tells her to do. In the middle of it, he simply walks away. Days later, the two meet at a hotel, where Sam just sits there like a casual dom, ordering her to take off her panties, then to spread her legs. Command after command, she finds herself completely naked in front of him, and you don't need my narration to know what happened next. Let's just say, his fingers weren't the only thing she was sucking that night, because things could get too messy and the kids might overplay their roles. He suggests having a safe word, and Romy chooses the word Jacob, proving that this woman doesn't exactly deserve to breathe our oxygen. Over time, Sam trains her to be truly submissive, drinking milk from a bowl on the ground, obeying every single one of his commands, and in return, she gets rewarded. A couple of days later, it's Isabel's birthday. Things take a sharp turn when Esme comes to the party with a date. Romy immediately pulls him aside, telling him she doesn't want to see him with other women, but he reminds her that the man in the other room is her husband. She grabs him, repeating that he's only hers, but Esme shows up and interrupts them. The next day at work, Romy calls Esme into her office and politely makes it clear that if she continues dating an intern, she might lose her job. Later that night, Romy tells her husband she'll be working late, but in reality, she goes to a club to meet Sam. They get drunk, publicly kissing each other. She then sneaks back into the house before Jacob notices. The next morning, Esme comes to visit her, admitting that she knows everything about her and Sam. She points out that she has no desire to bring Romy down, but wants her to stop seeing Sam, and to once again be the role model for all the women in the company. Romy realizes it's only a matter of time before more people find out. She waits for Jacob to come home and admits that ever since she was a little girl, she had dark thoughts and strange fantasies, but that Jacob wasn't like that, and could never fulfill them. Jacob is confused and asks her to be more specific. She explains that she never experienced any of those fantasies with him, admitting she met another man, but only gives him part of the truth, saying she slept with him once and doesn't even know his name, claiming it was a big mistake she will never repeat. Jacob becomes furious, screaming at her that she makes him sick and that he wants her out of the house. Luckily for Romy, he doesn't know the full truth, because then this dark romance would quickly turn into a bloodshed horror. Later that night, she hears someone jump into the pool. Going outside, she realizes it's Sam. Forgetting her promise to Jacob, she continues her romance with him. They enter the house to talk, when suddenly Jacob appears from the shadows. While Romy tries to calm him down, Jacob tells Sam not to touch him, but Sam intervenes, and the two begin fighting around the house. Sam, being much younger, manages to overpower him, though Jacob isn't done. They exchange a couple of solid hits. Once the situation calms down, Jacob asks what this was all about. Sam admits it's all about domination and submission. It becomes too much for Jacob to handle. He starts feeling pressure in his chest and has trouble breathing. Sam tries to calm him down, but eventually just apologizes and leaves. Days pass. Romy falls into depression, barely moving from the couch. One of those days, Isabel begs her to go speak with her father, saying he's in a really bad place and refuses to leave the theater. She eventually decides to go there and apologizes, saying it was a big mistake and that it was a problem inside her own head, one that had nothing to do with him. Eventually, Jacob decides to forgive her and loses all of my respect, and the two end up together in bed, where Jacob tries to fulfill her fantasies. But during their intimacy, she continues to imagine herself as a pet in a hotel room with Sam, proving that betrayal should never be forgiven, and that being a good man can sometimes get you nowhere in life. And that's where the film ends. Make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss a new video. Thanks for watching.